4.5s are basically pushers with racket head speed. That's the USTA rating. If you play in a 4.5 league, if someone says they're a 4.5, chances are they're pushers with racket head speed. And the first time I experienced this, I remember playing in a 4.5, playing in a 4.5 league, and I played against this guy. I lost. It was probably like 2-6, 2-2, or 3-3. I don't even know what the score was. But it didn't feel, it might have been close, but it didn't feel close. And the guy said to me, he said, you just got to hit the ball deep more, or you got to get better at hitting the ball deep. And that's all this guy did. He just spun the ball deep the whole match. It's the most boring tennis you'll ever play. I mean, in the moment, it can kind of feel good. You're running around, just whipping balls back and forth. But that's essentially all 4.5s are. That's all they do. They don't have drop shots. They don't have placement on. In reality, in theory, the 4.5 should have these things. But in reality, if you play a 4.5 league, chances are this is what you're going to get. Unless they're really truly maybe if they're forced, they start to lose. Maybe they're forced into doing something different. But even then, I've never really experienced it myself, or rarely. What they'll do is they won't do is they won't place the ball in the serve. They're not going to hit aces. They're not going to bomb the serve ever. It's going to be a spin in the middle of the box or something like that. They will hit loopy, spinny balls that will land deep. That will be their main strategy. You can clearly see through their mind what they're trying to do. It's just all day long, forehand side, backhand side, two-handed backhand, spin the ball deep. And the reason why I'm bringing this to light is that a lot of people think that 4.5 is some kind of accomplishment. And they get into they come into tennis as like a 3.5 or a 4.0, and then they're told, or they see that in order to get to a 4.5 level, this is what they have to do. And it can take them away from a lot of the skills that they have, a lot of the positive attributes that they have when they get labeled as a dirty or an unskilled tennis player, which is actually not true at all. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't try to acquire this ability of hitting the ball deep, but they don't want to get lost into thinking that this is how you become a 4.5. This is how you become a 5.0. And this is, I would say, this is part of the reason why the 4.5 can't get to the 5.0 level, because they don't see the game in this way. They see the game in one way or two ways, very one-track mind. And then they get into the idea that, well, I need to do this better, and I need to hit harder. I need to get stronger, etc. And that's how I up to the next level. And all this can be true, but it's much easier. It's much easier than that if you think in these different terms. And a lot of them don't have the mentality of the court delineation that I set up, coming from the Advanced Techniques of Competitive Tennis book, where you have these different targets, and they're not skilled in using these different targets at the right time, using them in different and creative ways that they've come up with on their own, etc. So to sum this up, a lot of people, or I'd say most people, learn through their experience. They don't learn through kind of what I'm doing here with theory and philosophy. They learn through their own experience. So they go out and they play tennis, and they see everybody. They see all the 4.5s and higher levels, etc., pushing the ball with lots of racket head speed. That's what they're doing. And they think, that's a 4.5. That's what a 4.5 is. they're winning. That's what they're doing to win. They're beating the so-called 4-0s, etc. That's the definition of a 4-5. Not true at all, for this reason that they're just going by what they see in their community, in the world, the outside world. So that's what I wanted to bring to light in this video, that 4-5s generally are just as much of a pusher as the conventionally known pusher that most people think of.